Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I'm Ken. I saw Barbie this weekend and I realized that I wasn't living up to my full potential in the patriarchy. So now that I have fully realized my role in the patriarchy, I have become Ken. I am no longer Brandon, but I have accepted the beach into my heart, and now everywhere is the beach, and I am truly beaching off here on BC Talks. What's up, y'all? Ken with BC Talks here. And this weekend was the highly anticipated Barbenheimer event. That's right, the release of both Barbie and Oppenheimer, the two movies which went viral the past few months. They had a really big viral marketing campaign. Lots of memes and lots of jokes were made about both Barbie and Oppenheimer releasing this weekend. But a lot of people in the industry are just excited that people are excited to go out and see the movies again. And I did see both of these movies. I saw a double feature on Thursday. I saw Barbie second. I saw Oppenheimer first, and then I saw Barbie. And we're going to start off here with the Oppenheimer review because that one's going to be nice and easy. Now, if you are familiar with my channel, or if you are not and you scroll through my past YouTube shorts, you'll see that my most viewed short is a short of me basically simping, for lack of a better word, for Florence Pugh in the Dune 2 trailer. It's my most viewed video and short on the channel. I might be the biggest Florence Pugh simper on YouTube. And so, if you watched Oppenheimer, you know that there were a certain few scenes featuring Florence Pugh. So, for those scenes alone, Oppenheimer gets an A plus from me. Nothing on the merit of the movie or the direction by Christopher Nolan or the cinematography or anything else. Just for those scenes, it gets an A plus.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, Oppenheimer, as y'all know, is a movie directed by Christopher Nolan, starring a wide cast of characters led by Killian Murphy. And this is probably his best performance of his career, to be honest. He should be the front runner for the best actor Oscar this year. It's by far the best performance I've seen this year in a movie, and I've seen over 30 movies this year, and it's by far the best, at least male performance that I've seen this year. He puts on a tour de force, really owns the character of Oppenheimer, really makes him believable, makes you sympathize for him, but also makes you see that dark side of him as well. And another actor that really stood out was Robert Downey Jr. And now, I was afraid when I first saw Robert Downey Jr. in this movie that I was only going to see Iron Man and that I wasn't going to be able to get past that. And, the way that Robert Downey Jr. talks, his inflections and his cadence in his voice, there is definitely that Iron Man tone to his voice sometimes, but that's just the way he talks. He can't really help that. But I didn't feel like it felt like Tony Stark. It really felt like he owned the character of this, um, kind of shady senator that was going up for this position. And he really owned that as well. I think he should get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor. And another actor that's severely underrated, Matt Damon. I know he's the butt of a lot of jokes because of the Team America police movie, the Matt Damon joke that they made in that movie, if you've seen that movie. But Matt Damon, he does a really great job. He did a really great job in Air earlier this year as the lead in that movie. And as a supporting actor in this movie, I thought he did a really great job. He's probably not going to get a nomination for supporting actor just because they're probably not going to give all those to Oppenheimer. You never know. Maybe they'll do. Maybe they will. But I think he should anyway. I thought Matt Damon, Killian Murphy, and Robert Downey Jr. were kind of the standouts in this movie. But this movie is packed with so many recognizable actors and actresses. Um, and but it doesn't rely on that. It's really the story of Oppenheimer and kind of his internal struggles with creating the atom bomb, not wanting the Nazis to create it first because he's Jewish, so he doesn't want the Nazis to create it. And then there's a whole side story with the Russians who are creating a hydrogen bomb, and so it's a really involved kind of story. And also, he's being investigated for being a possible communist because he donates money to the Spanish Revolution, and he used to go to these events and whatnot. So it's a whole cavalcade of events in the movie. But they really Christopher Nolan really directed it well. He really navigates the scenes well. It's a 3 hour movie, but it never felt like 3 hours to me. It was very well paced. every scene felt like it was necessary. I can't think of anything that I want to cut out of the movie. It was very well directed, very well acted. You know, Christopher Nolan has that signature style to his movies. The way that he uses the cinematography and the lighting, his choices with sound, the sound in this movie. I know a lot of Christopher Nolan movies have problems with sound, but this one he kind of uses that to his advantage, to kind of show the angst that Killian Murphy as Oppenheimer is going through. Um, the sound is used in very specific ways, and it's really amazing. And the bomb does not disappoint. I know that he actually dropped an actual bomb, not an atom bomb, of course, but he filmed it a practical explosion of a bomb for the bomb. It definitely doesn't disappoint, even though you know that it's not going to destroy the world. You still are on the edge of your seat before they drop the bomb, thinking, well, maybe is it going to burn the atmosphere or destroy the world? They do a really great job with tension in this movie. Like I said, the pacing is great. It's just a really great directorial performance by Christopher Nolan. Definitely a top five movie for Christopher Nolan in his career. A lot of people are saying this is one of his best. I think so as well. That's at least top three for me, up there with Dark Knight, um, and Inception as well. And it's a really great movie. And you know, you probably have already seen it if you're watching this, but if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. Even though it's 3 hours, I know that can deter some people, and it's rated R. But definitely go watch it if you haven't seen it. And next up, we have Barbie. That's right. Why I've got the whole Kenergy going on here. Barbie's directed by Greta Gerwig, and I saw a lot of people didn't expect this movie to have, to be as deep as it was. They kind of thought it was going to be like a fun romp with Barbie, and it is that, but it also has a message to it. And I think a lot of people were not expecting it, at least what I see online, and which is surprising because Greta Gerwig is known to have. Um, I know feminism is a buzzword, but she is known to highlight the issues that women in society struggle with in her movies. You know, she directed A Little Woman, and so she kind of highlights those issues in her movies. And Barbie definitely, she definitely uses Barbie as a stand-in, to kind of highlight those issues. And I think that Ryan Gosling is a standout in this movie. Obviously, Margot Robbie is Barbie. Margot Robbie's always great, but Ryan Gosling in this movie, he really is a standout. Just the comedy, his comedic timing, his chops, every joke that he makes lands. There's a lot of jokes in this movie that kind of didn't get the laughs, but every time Ryan Gosling, I want to say Ryan Reynolds all the time. I got Deadpool on the mind, but every time Ryan Gosling was on the screen and he would make a joke or just say something, even times when he wasn't trying to be funny, it was just funny. It was just hilarious, and he is kind of the stand-in for that stereotypical male figure. And when him and Barbie go to the real world because Barbie is having an existential crisis, and they think that Barbie is being the girl that is playing with the Barbie in the real world is sad and depressed. So they had to go to the real world, find that girl that's playing with her, and Ken sneaks in with Barbie to the real world, and so they're in the real world, and Margot Robbie as Barbie, who thinks that Barbie has done such wonderful things for the world because she's in Barbie land and she doesn't know about the real world. She sees how women are treated in the real world and kind of what they go through, and they kind of highlight that in the movie. And while Ken is seeing how the real world is different from Barbie Land, because in the Barbie world, Ken is kind of second rate. They don't really pay attention to the Kens. The Kens are kind of just there to be accessories to the Barbie. But in the real world, obviously, we know of the patriarchy and how men kind of rule the world, and so Ken sees that. And he kind of becomes a douche, basically. And he kind of goes back to Barbie Land and teaches all the Kens how the real world is. And the Kens take over Barbie Land. They institute the patriarchy, which they think is men on top of horses, ruling over everyone. And so they institute the patriarchy, and so now Barbie and the other Barbies, all the Barbies are kind of brainwashed and serving the Kens, and so Barbie has to make it right. And there's a side plot with Will Ferrell and the Mattel company, which I thought it was funny that they let them make fun of the company that made Barbie. I thought that was kind of a funny meta joke. And I've seen a lot of people say that Will Ferrell and the Mattel company business wasn't really necessary. I kind of agree, but I also feel like it was kind of supposed to be a fake world like Barbie Land. Like how it was supposed to be the soulless corporation that doesn't really care about the issues. They're just trying to make money. They make a lot of jokes about this is gonna make money, so they put it out. Ken, in the Barbie Land, Ken is making his I forget it was Castle Mojo Dojos or whatever, and so then those translate to the real world and they're selling like hotcakes. So Mattel doesn't really care that he's doing that because they're making money. And so I've seen a lot of people say that the Will Ferrell stuff doesn't really matter. I can see that, but I also felt like Greta Gerwig was using Mattel as the stand-in for the soulless corporation who only cares about money, and so there was that kind of subtext. And I also seen some complaints about how she kind of beats you over the head with the patriarchy message, but I think that a lot of people don't understand subtext. They don't get subtext unless you unless you literally explain what the meaning of the movie is to them. So a lot of people might not have gotten what she was getting at. A lot of people didn't know this movie was going to have meaning in the first place. So if she kind of didn't hammer that home, it is a little bit on the nose at the end, but I didn't mind it. I enjoyed the movie a lot. I thought it was very moving. There's a scene with Barbie where she's kind of looking at humanity, looking at different humans on the bench, and then she sees an older woman. She says, "You're beautiful." I thought that was a really beautiful scene. The scene at the end with the Billie Eilish song is really beautiful and moving. This is a heartwarming, but also really funny and kind of romp. It felt a lot like Elf to me, and not just because Will Ferrell's in it. There's scenes in the beginning that feel like Elf, and especially when they're in the Barbie land, it felt a lot like Elf to me, with where how he goes from his world to the real world, and he's looking for his dad. There were scenes like that where I was like, this feels like Elf. It kind of has that heart that Elf has. It's kind of like a better version of Elf, really. But I give Barbie an A. Definitely go see the Barbie movie if you haven't seen it already. And that is going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and bask in this Kenergy. But what did y'all think of Barbie and Oppenheimer? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more comic book and pop culture talk. And I will see y'all another day.